My name is Chris Murphy. I have the honor of representing the state of Connecticut in the United States Senate, and I am joined here, as always, by my partner, Senator Blumenthal, as well as anti-gun violence advocates from across the state, some of whom are going to speak to you today about the urgency of this moment. I'll be followed by Senator Blumenthal, and then we'll ask others to come up in this order: Mark Barden, Poe Murray, Reverend Henry Brown, Jeremy Stein, Cindy Carlson, and then Kristen Song, and we'll be happy to answer questions afterwards. We simply cannot allow this to become the new normal in this country. We cannot allow ourselves to become numb to what is happening in this nation. I'm a United States Senator, but first and foremost, I'm a parent. I have a fourth grader, a seventh grader as well. And when my kids went to school this week, they were talking about things with their classmates that they should not have to talk about. They were talking about how they would survive the day if something was to happen inside their school, like what happened in too many others. As a parent, that is unacceptable. As a parent, that is heartbreaking. But I am also a United States Senator. And my job is not to just be heartbroken. My job is to do something about it. And as I told my colleagues on the Senate floor last week, it is their job as well. Why on earth do my colleagues spend so much time and effort trying to become United States senators, trying to get elected to the world's greatest deliberative body, and then refuse to deliberate on the question that is most fundamental to our human existence, our survival, our children's physical safety? I wish this country didn't entertain a conversation around the issue of gun violence only after mass shootings. There is a slaughter every single day in this country. Talk to Reverend Brown about what he has been living through over the course of his life in Hartford. I wish this country was willing to step up and have a conversation about the epidemic of gun violence every single day. But the reality is these mass shootings, they are more jarring when 19 children die at one time for good reason. This country is shaken in a very specific and unique way. And we have to accept that it is during these moments that the opportunity for change is the most acute. And so Senator Blumenthal and I are here to tell you that we are hearing more interest in talking about real change, changes in our gun laws, more support for mental health services than at any point since the shooting in Sandy Hook. We have been in dialogue with our Republican colleagues exhaustively throughout the weekend, trying to find some common ground on changes to our gun laws to make sure that dangerous people don't get their hands on dangerous weapons. And we are entertaining a conversation about supplementing those changes in statute with more support for mental health resources and more support to make our schools physically safe. I have had the football pulled out from under me enough times before in these negotiations to be realistic about our prospects for success. But we are going to work every single minute of every single day over the course of this week and next week to try to get enough of our Republican colleagues to yes. I hope they are moved by what they have witnessed in the way that the rest of this country has been moved. But make no mistake, we are going to have a debate in the United States Senate. We are going to take votes in the United States Senate on tightening our nation's gun laws, with or without our Republican colleagues. Now, my plan is that they will be with us. My plan is to get a bill, a comprehensive bill, that will save lives. But if we can't get that compromise, then we're going to go ahead and put everybody on the record and show the American public who's taking this threat seriously and who isn't. And lastly, before I introduce Senator Blumenthal, I'm also realistic about what we can accomplish. We don't have to end the epidemic of gun violence in this nation with one piece of legislation, right? What we need to do is break this logjam, but break this logjam with a piece of legislation that's going to save lives, not a piece of legislation that is just going to check boxes. So progress is important. Progress is my goal, but progress that is going to save lives right now. And I believe that we can get that done. I'm sober-minded about our chances. I know that history is normally predictive of the future, but my hope is that the increased number of people willing to talk matters. So again, I'm so grateful to all of the advocates who are here today. They are our heroes. The fact that so many people behind us are grieving at the same time that they are pressing for change is miraculous to me. And the fact that so many of our other advocates, despite having been let down by Congress so many times, are willing to come back out over and over again is a miracle as well, and we're grateful to have them here. Senator Blumenthal.
Thanks, Senator Murphy. First, my thanks to Chris for his leadership, but most important, my thanks to our allies here. They are part of a groundswell, a real grassroots movement. It's a political movement. It's not just a moral and emotional movement. It is a movement that is moving America. As I run around the state this weekend at Memorial Day ceremonies and parades, the most common, the most passionate comment to me was, do something. Americans are saying, do something. Inaction is not an option. Inaction is complicity. So I say to my Republican colleagues, we are at a moment. It is a moment of opportunity, a moral moment. It is a political moment. It's a put up or shut up time for the United States Senate. And they will be put to a vote, one way or the other, because doing their job means voting. And there are common sense, sensible measures. We're developing compromises right now. Literally, moments ago, I was on the phone to Republican colleagues, forging or seeking to do it, a compromise on various aspects of, for example, red flag law. But compromise requires commitment. And my hope is that we are on the verge of a step, a bipartisan step. I'm more hopeful than ever since Sandy Hook that we can take that step, which could well lead to other steps. Because once we open the door to action, others may follow. Now, I want to say, as anguished as I was on Tuesday, the end of this week was even more so. I welcome a Department of Justice inquiry into how this incident was handled. The stories that I heard, the images that I saw were heartbreaking and stomach-turning beyond words. The apparent law enforcement failures here, contrary to the protocols that Connecticut and other states have adopted, as well as the federal government, really deserve the most serious and searching scrutiny. But we need to do what is within our power, and that is to prevent similar kinds of incidents, whether they are in schools or theaters or houses of worship. Over the 48 hours of this weekend, there were 12 mass shootings. People died, none of them in the headlines. And the 100 people, actually more than 100, that die every day are part of the epidemic of gun violence in this country, even though there's no mass reporting about them. The compromise that we're seeking is actually modeled on Connecticut's laws. Connecticut has been at the forefront, and Connecticut, most importantly, has shown these laws do save lives. To all of my Republican colleagues who say they won't work, they won't prevent the last shooting, that's a false argument. It is all of the shootings that we seek to prevent, not just the most recent one. And every one of these measures, red flag laws, expanded background checks, safe storage, Ethan's Law, and others, can help save lives, literally help save lives. So I am going to be working along with Senator Murphy and a number of our other colleagues on both sides of the aisle. I believe they are at the table in good faith. I sincerely believe they want progress, but it takes more than a handful. It takes Republican colleagues who will put up or shut up. And that's the moment we are at, to say no, finally, to the gun lobby, to say enough is enough to the NRA and all of its partners and allies is what ultimately will be necessary here. The gun lobby has waned in its sway in the Capitol, but it still can intimidate and threaten. And we need colleagues who will have the grit and guts to stand up to that gun lobby and to overcome as well what the United States Supreme Court may say this week or next. And clearly, these measures that we're proposing are constitutional. They fit clearly within the parameters of the Second Amendment. We are not talking about taking guns away from law-abiding citizens or in any way imperiling rights under the Second Amendment. And we are talking about measures that will help save lives.